Good evening. It's me, Sheila Truelove, and today I would like to talk about what is a bad attitude. If you want to control people and keep them in line, what better way is there than to call anyone who speaks up for themselves a person with an attitude problem? What exactly is a bad attitude? A bad attitude is a person who is negative or disagreeable or who can't see anything positive in most situations. Now let's focus on that word disagreeable. If someone is treating you poorly or disrespecting you or want to control and dominate you, are you supposed to be agreeable to these things? I think not. I have the perfect example of someone who does truly have a bad attitude. If you've ever watched the show Mike and Molly and you see Mike's mother, now that's a bad attitude. If you've ever watched Soul Food and look at the aunt who moves in with the family, again, that's a bad attitude. Speaking up or standing up for yourself has nothing to do with being disagreeable, being a negative person, or being a person who has a bad attitude. When people tell you this, it's usually people who are very controlling and very domineering, and they want you to agree with whatever they say and feel what they feel. And when you don't, they will slap the label on you for having a bad attitude. If you are smart, confident, intelligent, and you have yourself together, standing up for yourself can be pretty difficult, especially for women, because women are supposed to smooth things over, be nice to everybody, and diffuse conflict rather than speak up for themselves, or they're considered to be a person who is not feminine and a person with a bad attitude. When people say that you have a bad attitude, they feel that they don't have to explain anything further. They could just say, oh, you have a bad attitude. They use it like a club to club you over your head to keep people in line. Or when people that they don't want to treat you right or do right by you, they will use that catch-all phrase, you have a bad attitude. People aren't going to like it when you start saying no or you start standing up for yourself. But constantly trying to please people, guess what that leads to? In the end, it leads to nothing but stress, anxiety, and depression. We generally think of someone with a negative outlook on most things to be a person who has a bad attitude. And I kind of think that's true. If most things you have a negative attitude, you talking about doomsday, we're all going to die, the world is coming to an end. Yeah, that's a freaking bad attitude. Really. You know, growing up, we're taught to be polite, don't make waves, and we should be considerate, nice, and never be rude. Or we don't want to create any unnecessary problems or conflict. When I do these things, I always seem to end up doing things that I don't want to do. Or I end up helping people with things that they can do for themselves. And when I do that, I always end up frustrated and annoyed. You should never accept things that you are not okay with. When you become a people pleaser and would rather inconvenience yourself rather than inconvenience other people, this leads again to stress, anxiety, and depression. And we all know that stress kills. It is very important for you to speak up without blowing up. It's very vital for you to stand up and speak up for yourself at all times. No one said you have to be rude or aggressive, but you should definitely be assertive with authority in your voice. You have to be taken seriously. That does not mean you have a bad attitude. Now let's think about what is a good attitude. A good attitude is someone who's usually pleasant, cheerful, bubbly, polite, and not rude. Think about what's rude. It's not rude to excuse yourself. Let's say somebody invites you out to dinner, and it's a dinner where you don't eat this certain type of food because it's very upsetting to your stomach. Or it's in an area that's, it's just disgusting. Now, when you excuse yourself politely and say that you're going to leave. You didn't know that this was the type of food that was being served, and you excuse yourself. That is not having a bad attitude or making it all about you. No, you merely spoke up for yourself. When you ask someone to call before they come over to your house and they don't, and you express how you don't appreciate them ignoring your request, you make sure your volume and your tone is respectful and yet firm. This is not having a bad attitude. Again, that's speaking up for yourself and standing up for yourself. So when people tell you that you have a bad attitude, trust me when I tell you, honey, that's just another tactic or manipulation to try to get you to do what they want you to do. And remember, you must always, always stay true to yourself. This is Sheila True Love. You always have a choice. Exercise your choices and choose wisely. I know you will. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye for now.